one of the things that I've started learning through all of this is how to embrace the moment, because my future is unknown. So, for a very long time when this first started, I didn't know how long it was going to take. I had no idea it was going to take almost 6 years, um, or almost 5 years, roughly 5 years. It started in 2011, in November of 2011. So it's been a very long time in the process. But when it first started, I expected it to go really quickly. So, um, I really lived in a state of uh, just panic. Like everything was transient and not, I didn't plan ahead. I didn't live. I just was like sitting and waiting for things to happen. And then in 2013, it was pushed again. So I mean, I had already been waiting for a year, living in limbo. Like I wouldn't even decorate my apartment, nothing. I lived out of boxes, and I didn't. I just worked. I didn't really plan for the future with my business and everything. It was just, um, it was really just terror of the unknown and the future, and just waiting for it to happen. Well, in 2013, I realized I wasn't going to go to prison that year. And so I started trying to live in the moment. I made a home for myself. I made a beautiful apartment that is cozy and safe and feels like a home. I adopted my dog, and started moving forward with my life, and just started living more and trying to do things and I started improving my business, and stuff like that. And then in 2014, I adopted my cat and kept, pushing forward, because again, I found out it wouldn't happen that year. So I just kept moving forward step by step, and started living each day. It was like I have this blind spot as far as my future, and that's very frustrating because it's really hard. You can't plan too far ahead. But instead of living as though I had no existence until this is all over, I have learned that I have to live in the moment. And so it's kept me going forward. Like, I expect to go to prison. I really don't want to at all, but a part of me feels I need to be punished, and a part of me feels like I deserve to go to prison, and so a part of me expects it. A part of me says that why won't the worst thing happen? Why should something good happen? Why should I be blessed and not go to prison when everyone else is going to prison? And true, I didn't have as much involvement with them. I did not know everything to the full effect of it, but I still feel guilty, and I still feel bad because my sister is going to prison and I'm not. Well, if I didn't. And so part of me feels like I deserve it. But so I have this sitting over me like a cloud, and I try really hard to each day live it, because this is going on, this limbo that I've been in is going on for so long. If I hadn't started living in 2013, I would have died. I would have, because I would have wasted 5 years of my life waiting for a potential future that I didn't know what was going to happen. So those 5 years would have been completely wasted. Time is precious and life is precious. And I may go to prison, but I have lived more in these past 3 years than I have in my entire life. I really started being alive and living and improving myself, just becoming a better person and being a better friend, being a better sister, just being a better human being and enjoying who I am. I love who I am. And this brought this about. I'm not saying this had to happen to make me what I am, but I believe that God, He brings good out of whatever happens. So it's like, here's something really crappy and terrible that happened because your sister used and manipulated you. And she took advantage of your loyalty and your love for her. And so here, this is terrible, this is horrible. You are going to lose your entire family. You're going to get a felony. You're going to spend 72 hours in jail. You potentially may go to prison. You have to testify against your sister. You have to testify in all these other cases. So we're talking, this is a ton of crap. And that is the consequences of my actions for not being strong enough and not being brave enough to stand up to her and really fight and do what was right. Okay, so every action has a consequence, and that this is my consequence. But the way God seems to work is that your actions cause something bad, but guess what? I will cause something good to come out of it if you learn your lesson. It's like, yeah, here you're going to go get indicted and you're going to spend 72 hours in jail, but I'm going to give you the best attorney that you could have for totally free because, I had no money. I still have no money enough for a good lawyer. And so she's court appointed. I could have gotten the worst lawyer ever. Federal attorneys court appointed, I mean, they're good. I'm not saying they're not, but she is phenomenal. She really knows what she's doing. And I really thoroughly like her as a person. She has integrity. And that's hard to find in attorneys. And, especially, I mean, she represents guilty people. So to find someone that I respect and like and is nice and good to me and works and does a good job and really knows what she's doing, that is a blessing. And I am humbled by that. I got the best pretrial officer. I've had the best pretrial officers I could have had ever through this whole time. They've all been extremely nice to me. They've all been very understanding and helpful. And I didn't have to have that. I could have gotten some bitch or bastard who, treated me like I was a horrible person. Instead, they have been very nice people, and that is a blessing. While I was in jail, I could have got roomed up, with someone horrible. Instead, I spent the time with this really wonderful, sweet woman who made some bad mistakes. She was used and manipulated by someone in her life too, but she was really sweet and really nice, and that I consider a blessing. And I was set up with, by the courts, a therapist who helped me grow so much over the past 4 years. She recently retired, which is really sad because I still miss her. But she was phenomenal. I mean, she's the best therapist I've ever gone to. I really like my current therapist, but she was amazing. She really helped me grow a lot. And she was someone that I cared very much about. And as you can see, I'm still very upset that I lost her. She retired, and so it was kind of like a death and a loss because I'll never see her again because it was a professional, client patient, patient doctor type situation. And I understand that, and I'm fine with that. But it still hurts because it's like a death. But that was a huge blessing to get her. And to get my new therapist, that was a huge blessing because she's wonderful and I really like her and she's what I need right now. And I the probation officer that did my report and my review, I could have gotten some horrible, mean person who treated me like scum, and instead I got the one I did who was fair and listened and was honest. And that's all I wanted. I don't want them to go, "Oh, you're so wonderful and perfect here. You can." I want them to be honest and truthful and be fair to me and do a good job. And that's what I want. And if it benefits me, all the better. But I want them to listen to me and see me for who I am instead of just passing strict judgment. That is a blessing. The fact that the federal prosecutor and the FBI agents and the IRS agents all like me, that is a blessing. All of these things are blessings. And through it, all these blessings on top of it is that I have learned so much about myself. And it may be the hardest thing I've ever gone through, but at the end of it, I will finally have the freedom I have always wanted my entire life that I've never had. Growing up, I was trapped by my mom and the life she put on me, and all I wanted was to be free. And then I got married, and I was trapped again, trying to be something I wasn't, trying to be what he wanted. And I just wanted freedom and to be loved, and I wasn't. And then again, after my divorce, getting in with my sister, again I became trapped. And before this happened, before all of it happened, I remember it was around my birthday. And it's the beginning of 2011. So before it all happened, but that same year, I remember praying so hard that something changed, that something would happen, that I could finally be free, because I hated my life. And I knew I could look into the future and know I would never, ever, ever be happy and free. And I was trapped, and I felt trapped, and I didn't understand why. I thought, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was my sister. I didn't know it was the weak person I had become. I didn't know what it was, but I prayed so hard for freedom. And it all happened, and it's not like I made it happen, but I think God used it to answer my prayers and give me that freedom. And when this is all done, I will be a free person, completely free to be myself, to make my own decisions, to do everything and be accountable for myself, to choose my own path and my direction. And that is a blessing. And unless you've been trapped and living in a prison by other people and by yourself, you don't know how amazing that is. So whatever happens in May, I will finally be free. There will not be anything else holding me back except myself, and I refuse to hold myself back. But this life I am going to live. I spent 35 years in prison. I am not going to be in prison anymore. So once it is over, prison or not, I will finally be a free person, and I will live. And until I know, I will try to live every single day, because each day is a blessing and it is not guaranteed. And honestly, I have lived more since 2013 than I have lived my entire life. And I am going to continue to do so until the very day that they make me go into prison. And even inside, I will find a way to live and be grateful for my life. Because once this is over, it'll be a life worth living completely. So,